Hey guys, it's Kayla. Today I'm currently in a weird setup because I'm in the process of moving homes, so I don't have an actual reading nook. So when you see videos of me either talking about my wrap-ups, my TBRs and whatnot, it might be in this setup. I'm gonna try to stage little areas in this room to maybe make it look kind of cute, but we'll see how it goes because again, I'm in the process of moving in the next couple of months, so it's gonna be a little hectic. But I couldn't wait to get this video out for you guys because it's already January 12th. We need to get the ball rolling. I currently got back into reading. I took a really long hiatus because life got a little crazy, okay? I don't want to explain any further if you guys want to see where I've been the last 8 years, what I've been doing. And leave it in the comments down below and I'll make a dedicated video for that. But today I really want to get into my 24 books, my top 24 books that I want to read in 2024 because there's actually a lot more books on my list that I want to read. I want to preface this by saying because I am getting back into reading, I really don't know where to start, so I'm taking a lot of recommendations from BookTok, from BookTube. So a lot of these things on my list are very popular books from BookTok and BookTube. If you guys are just starting your reading journey like myself, well, I'm not really starting it, I'm kind of like restarting it, but if you're just starting out or restarting it or getting back into the swing of things and you want somebody to follow along with while you're learning about all these books that are just amazing and getting into this world of BookTok and reading, then hit that subscribe button because it really helps your girl out. One of these books I wasn't sure if I should throw on my 24 to read in 2024 because although you guys don't know that I haven't read it yet because it's on a reading vlog, I've already read it. So I don't know if I want to include this in the list, but I will share with you guys anyway. So there might be 25 books on here because I don't know if that really counts. I already finished it. And that is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I just finished this book. I loved and hated it. I really can't delve into this. I can't delve into this because of the triggers. But if you want to see my rating, then check out my reading vlog, which will be up next week. We know that the next book that I actually want to read is It Starts With Us, and this is the second book in the series. When I picked up these books, I literally picked this one up first because I thought it was the first one. That's something that I'm trying to figure out is because I'm so far behind. I don't know which book is the first in a series. This, I believe, is a duology. I don't think there's any other book in this series. And this is a continuation of apparently Lily and Atlas's love story. I am not reading this next though. That's all I can say because I needed to take a little break. The next book that I want to read, I'm actually currently reading, and that is also going to be in my reading vlog, and that is the ACOTAR series. This is A Court of Thorns and Roses. If you're not familiar with the acronym, this is by Sarah J. Maas. I started years ago. I read Throne of Glass and I was obsessed, and I kept seeing people talk about this specific book. So I decided instead of rereading Throne of Glass, which is, it's on my list. Anyway, I wanted to start off with A Court of Thorns and Roses. Yeah, I had bought the box set because I was just gonna get the one because I don't like to buy the whole series, especially if I'm not sure if I'm gonna like the series or not. Like, I'm not that kind of gal, but it was on sale. It was on sale at Target, 40% off if you ordered online. I picked up in store. I got it for $55 when this is normally $100. So I was like, I'm getting the whole thing, especially because I know I like Sarah J. Maas's writing. And from Throne of Glass, I'm gonna reread that one as well. But anyway, A Court of Thorns and Roses is supposed to be a fantasy. There's fairies involved. There's romance, spice, supposedly, so I'm really excited about that. But also the romance, I just love romance. I think that's going to be my genre that I love to read. I honestly want to throw in other genres in this, so there's a couple, very few. Most of the stuff I'm going to be reading is romance. I do want to dive into other genres, like I said, because I want to see if there's maybe other things that I like. Next book I would like to read is the Shatter Me series. I just have this first one because this has actually been on my TBR shelf for years. I bought this over 8 years ago, and this is by Tahira Mafi. Next book I want to read is November 9th by Colleen Hoover, and my cousin says that this is really good. This is one of her favorites from Colleen Hoover. This is something else I want to get into because a lot of people do say it is sad, but I'm not gonna read it just yet. I need something a little lighthearted and more like something that's gonna make me giggly, and you know, Colleen Hoover doesn't do that. It gets me, okay? And I love it. Next book I want to read is not on my physical TBR shelf. It is The Fourth Wing. I have been seeing this all over BookTok and how the romance in there is so good and everybody's just like, it's just amazing. So that is something else I want to get into for sure. The next book I really want to read is The Hobbit, and that's, I feel like, very self-explanatory. I have not read Lord of the Rings at all. I really want to get into fantasy. And my boyfriend was like, can we start with The Hobbit? I'm like, of course. I'm so down to start with The Hobbit and go on from there because he really likes Lord of the Rings. He's actually read The Hobbit. He wants to reread it with me. So hopefully he and I can both read Lord of the Rings together, and I'm really hoping that I can enjoy the books because movies are not my favorite. Just because they're so long. That's all I have to say. So I'm hoping that when I read these books, I'll have more of an appreciation for the movies and will want to watch the movies. Anyway, the next book I want to read is The Hunger Games, and this is just something that I never read. I think I read the first chapter, and this is actually my aunt's copy. She lent it to me again because we were supposed to go see the new Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes, I believe that's what's called. I watched it here at home. We ended up renting it and it was so good, but I didn't read the book before we saw the movie. So she lent it to me so I could start it. She was like, the first few chapters are very slow, but it gets really good after that. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'm down. I'll try to read it, you know, because I really do enjoy The Hunger Games. So I really do think I will like this book once I can get through the first few chapters. The next book that I want to read is not on my physical TBR shelf. It is called Twisted Love by Ana Huang. Everybody's raving about these series. I love the spicy books. I love the romance. I need to read it. I'm really excited. And she's coming out with some new books as well soon. So I'm really excited. I want to get it on her train, okay? The next book I've already mentioned is Throne of Glass. I want to actually reread this because I do have Crown of Midnight and I have Assassin's Blade. I do not know. I have 3 books because I read this, was absolutely in love with it, and then I was like, I gotta go get a few more books because I'm in love. I'm obsessed. Dude, till this day, I do not exactly remember everything that goes on in this book, but to this day, I still think of this book. And I read this over 8 years ago. The next book I want to read is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I've heard mixed reviews on this. I don't want to get too much into synopsis and what people think about it because I want my own opinion to form when I read books. I don't want to be biased because of the opinions that I hear from other people. But The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, I've heard good things, I've heard bad things, so I don't know. Next book I want to read is If He Had Been With Me, and this is just something I've seen all over TikTok, so I'm like, I need to see what the hype is about. The next book, I actually just saw a TikTok of this girl just bawling her eyes out and saying like, I should have read the trigger warnings. I feel like it takes a lot for me to actually be triggered, so I want to see how I do with this book, and it's called A Little Life. I know just saying that, people, if you've already read it, I'm pretty sure y'all are gonna be like, you be warned. Be warned, but I want to film my whole reaction to reading that book. The next book I would love to read is Caraval. This is also not on my physical TBR shelf. This is another romance book that a lot of people are raving about, so I'm just like, I need to read it. I need to see what the hype is about. The next book is Six of Crows. I want to say when I first started BookTube, this was, I want to say within the first few years that I did BookTube, I didn't do it that long, but when I was getting into it, this was something that a lot of people were hyped about, and I'm actually really happy to see that a lot of the books that were hyped when I first started BookTube are still a lot of the books that are still hyped right now, which is amazing because it comes in waves of like people first getting into BookTube with these core books and then moving on to like the other stuff that they really love and recommending other books and diving into new worlds. So Six of Crows is another book that I would really like to read. The next book is just kind of like out in the wild. It's The Silent Patient. I literally watched a book talk. That was one of the books that was on the list of books that they recommended, and a lot of people were commenting that it was really good, so I was like, I need to see what people are talking about. The next book I want to read is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I hear that the plot twist in this one is so good, so I wanna read this one. The next book, I don't know if this is the first one or the second one. The next book is Binding 13. I just keep seeing people bawling their eyes out to this book, and sometimes you need a good cry. So either Binding 13 or I believe it's Keeping 13. Whichever one's first, I'm reading that one first and I'll have it right here. Next book I wanna read is One Dark Window. Apparently this is a gothic fantasy romance. I don't think I've ever actually read anything like that, so I'm really excited to see what that world is about. Like, I really love fantasy and I want to dive more into it. The next book that I want to read is King of Wrath. King of Wrath is another one that a lot of people are raving about, and I need to read it. I need to read it. The next book that I want to read is First Light Winds. I wanted to throw in a thriller in this 24 that I'd like to read in 2024 because I want to see again some other genres that I really want to get into. I want to read a sci-fi book, but I don't know. I tried reading Dune and I could not get into the first chapter. Wouldn't mind trying other sci-fi books, but again, we're getting back to thriller. It's like a murder mystery. Apparently her life seems perfect, then everything gets flipped upside down because it's actually not perfect. Everything's a lie. So I need to know because I love mysteries. So, woo! The next book I'd like to read is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This is supposedly a thriller as well. I want to say murder mystery, and it has to do with the character who can, oh my god, it's gonna be scary. It sounds scary. Like, apparently you can see dead people. I believe somebody turns up dead. I'm not 100% sure about the synopsis. I wasn't trying to get too into it. I just saw that it seemed scary and it was a murder mystery. So I'm really scared but excited to read that one. The next book I want to read is Harry Potter. It's actually a reread, and I'm actually mad because I purchased this book not realizing that I actually had this same exact book in my bookshelf, because I thought my mom had it and I thought she lost it, and it was in my bookshelf the whole time. So yeah, I'm rereading Harry Potter. That's just because it's my absolute favorite movie of all time. My mom made me read the books when I was younger, but I didn't really get to soak in the world because I was just too obsessed with the movies, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna read them so I can watch the movies. And I only memorized what was in the book for like a couple months and then I forgot. I read all the way up to the Order of the Phoenix and I stopped, so I want to reread the entire series. And my coworker was telling me the Dobby scene was so sad, so if I cried in the movie, I can only imagine how much I'm gonna cry in the books. The next book I want to read is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. It's another romance, I want to say fantasy, but I stumbled across her book talk and she was doing obviously like the marketing for her book, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna give this a shot because people are really liking this book, and I want to say she's coming out with her second one soon, or she's currently working on it. So I want to read it so that way I can get the hype for the second one if I like it. The next book I want to read is Haunting of Adeline. And people are saying that this one's a little like, I want to read it, but it's not at the top of my list, but I want to read it because I don't know how I'm gonna feel, you know? I don't know how I'm gonna feel. And the last book I really want to read is another romance book, of course. Obviously it's called From Blood and Ash, and I saw it on Book Talk. I want to read it. I'm excited about it. These are the 24 books that I want to read in 2024. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more like a synopsis on the books themselves, be sure to subscribe to my channel because as I'm reading them, I will explain them more in depth, and I really want to do more reading vlogs as well. I'm currently filming one at the moment. Not wait to get back to reading Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm so excited. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you guys in my next one. Bye guys.